So I'm talking to Martin Kuvandzhiev from Bitcoin Gold, and I understand that you're one of the main contributors to the Bitcoin Gold software, right?
Yeah, I'm a co-founder and board member in Bitcoin Gold.
Okay. And what are you working on now with Bitcoin Gold?
Right now in Bitcoin Gold, we're working really hard on making a larger community around the world. And also we have a new algorithm for fighting the 51% attacks.
Can you tell us a little bit about that new algorithm? How does it work?
Yeah, it is called cross-chain block notarization. And the logic is that when you're having a 51% attack, this is exploiting the proof of work algorithm. And that is why we're making a notarization of the chain on other chains. We have authorities, trusted authorities, which have deployed their public keys on our GitHub account, and we can verify that someone has notarized, has signed the hash of certain block. And when someone signs the hash of certain block and sends it to some of the networks that we're supporting to check for notarization, this block is being notarized.
And doesn't that potentially introduce some type of centralization because you now have to trust these?
No, because everyone can post their pull request on GitHub and have their request approved. It is like sending a code change. Everyone can vote on a certain code change or improvements in the Bitcoin Gold or Bitcoin or Ethereum chain. And after it has been approved, it goes to the production code. And that way we're again having decentralization because everyone can submit their public key and start notarizing the chain.
All right. So, is this intended to be a permanent solution? Is this something that you're always going to need to rely upon?
It is, as of this moment, this is an addition to our proof of work consensus because we're right now developing a proof of concept for this. And with this proof of concept, we are intending to be able to at first send a notification to the exchanges and to the larger members of the community if we see something that is happening as a 51% attack. But we intend to input this in our core clients shortly.
So obviously the reason that you needed to have this solution is because there was a very notable 51% attack on Bitcoin Gold.
Yeah, it happened in the middle of May, just after Consensus Conference in New York. And we have maybe one of the largest attacks on our chain, actually on any blockchain up to that moment. And it was driven, by the way, by NiceHash. Someone was buying hashing power from NiceHash in order to attack our chain. And actually this happens to many more chains. Some of them we know, like Ethereum Classic, and there are other minor chains that are being constantly attacked. And
do you know who it is?
No, there's no way to know who it is. Maybe the only party that can say who is this person is NiceHash, because they're having the information for most of their users.
Did you ask them?
Yes.
And they said, we're not telling you?
GDPR.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah,
so they might know.
They might know, and at some point they might decide to contribute and to make a dispute against this person in the police, to raise a case and so on. But it is totally up to them. I'm a third party for them and I have no right to ask for any more information.
So could you maybe backtrack a little bit and tell us the backstory behind this attack? Were you surprised by it?
Yeah, we have been surprised by these kind of attacks, and when it happened, we were again, as I said, in New York for Consensus with Edward Iskra and with Han Yun, one of our developers. And we have been so happy with all the positive feedback about Bitcoin Gold on Consensus, and we have made one really good video showing and telling the people how Consensus went. And less than 5 hours after we have submitted the video, we got the first attack that we have seen on our chain.
So what did you do when you noticed that it was being attacked?
We have seen a large reorganization with taking 3 blocks in the beginning. And the first thing to do was to see what is happening and if this is normal. After we understood that we are maybe under 51% attack, we have started contacting all the exchanges, giving them the address of the attacker, the address that the attacker uses for double spend, and the one that he's mining. So when we see that the attacker is mining, or when we see a spend transaction for certain address, the exchanges may isolate this transaction, not approve it.
And was that successful?
It was successful for most of the exchanges, but some exchanges like Bittrex somehow did not isolate this address and have confirmed the transaction, and they got double spend. They have lost something like $600,000.
So there was some controversy between Bittrex and yourselves. You're saying that you gave them some type of warning?
Yeah, we gave them warning, which was something like 16 hours before they got double spend.
And what was their claim, that the warning wasn't sufficient? What did they say?
Actually, they have not told us anything about the warning. They have just said, okay, guys, we got double spend. It was attack against Bitcoin Gold. And in order to show that you care about your chain, you need to repay us, which was, in my opinion, not good explained by them. And it was not a good claim.
And so did you spend some time in a conversation with them? How did it go?
Yeah, we have tried to talk with them, and we gave them the proofs that we have told them the exact address. Actually, it was me who told them, be careful with this and these addresses, they're doing double spends, do not accept transactions. And exactly from these addresses, they got attacked. And they got a heads up with 16 hours, which is enough. So I have just sent them screenshots of everything that we have been speaking about, and they got silent, and they have been silent for like 2 months. And at some point, they have just sent us a message, you know what, we're delisting you because you have not repaid us.
So they were very disappointed or angry?
I think that it's their mistake. And so when people make mistakes, they should just say, okay, I have made a mistake, but I'm going to do everything in order not this mistake to happen again.
Is it really so black and white that it's completely their mistake? Because I think they listed you with the expectation that there wouldn't be a 51% attack, right?
I think that all the exchanges are listing all the projects with the expectation not to have 51% attacks or any kind of hacks or whatever. But this is why we're like, me as a user of exchanges, I'm paying taxes in order to, not taxes, I'm paying fees in order to have the exchanges protecting my funds, and in case of error, the exchanges to have liquidity to cover these errors. Bittrex fee is something like 0.15%, which is a lot actually.
Okay, so they delisted you. Was there some effect then on your price based on that?
No, at this point the market was like there were many bigger news at this point, and we lost something like 5% only. And since the Bittrex delisted us, we have seen the gradual growth in our price until the latest correction of Bitcoin.
So what about the future for Bitcoin Gold?
Well, we're working really hard on improving our algorithms and for creating a universal solution not only for us against the 51% tax, but for all other projects. And this is one of the main development things that we're doing. We're still following Bitcoin projects, trying to contribute to Bitcoin as well. And we're trying to help all the other cryptocurrencies and blockchain projects that are around. We're really friendly with all of them, and we think that it is important for all of us to contribute to each other and to help each other, because at the end we are standing against all the current fintech.
So one final question. What will be the topic of your presentation at Bitcoin Wednesday a little bit later?
Yeah, I'm going to speak about 51% attacks, and I'm going to give more details about Bitcoin Gold's way to fight 51% attacks.
Thanks very much, Martin.
Thank you.
Look forward to your presentation.